Prince, musician. In today's video we'll learn about Prince, musician. Going through the sections: abstract, early life, career, illness and death, posthumous projects, artistry and legacy, legal issues, personal life, achievements, discography, external links. Abstract. Prince Rogers Nelson was an American singer-songwriter, musician, record producer, dancer, and actor. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest musicians of his generation. A multi-instrumentalist who was considered a guitar virtuoso, he was well known for his eclectic work across multiple genres, flamboyant and androgynous persona, and wide vocal range which included a far-reaching falsetto and high-pitched screams. Prince's innovative music integrated a wide variety of styles, including funk, R&B, Latin, country, rock, new wave, classical, soul, synthpop, psychedelia, pop, jazz, industrial, and hip-hop. He pioneered the Minneapolis sound, a funk rock subgenre that emerged in the late 1970s. He was also known for his prolific output, releasing 39 albums during his life, with a vast array of unreleased projects left in a vault at his home after his death. It is believed that the vault contains dozens of fully produced albums and over 50 music videos that have never been released, along with various other media. He released hundreds of songs both under his own name and multiple pseudonyms during his life, as well as writing songs that were made famous by other musicians, such as Nothing Compares to You and Manic Monday. Estimates of the complete number of songs written by Prince range anywhere from 500 to well over 1,000. Born and raised in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Prince signed a recording contract with Warner Brothers Records at the age of 19. Prince went on to achieve critical success with the innovative albums Dirty Mind, 1980, Controversy, 1981, and 1999, 1982. Working with his backup band The Revolution, his sixth album Purple Rain, 1984, which was the soundtrack to his film acting debut of the same name, spent 6 consecutive months atop the Billboard 200. Prince won the Academy Award for Best Original Song Score. After disbanding The Revolution, Prince went on to achieve continued critical success with Sign of the Times, 1987. In the midst of a contractual dispute with Warner Brothers in 1993, he changed his stage name to The Unpronounceable Symbol, and was sometimes referred to as the artist formerly known as Prince or simply the artist. He signed with Arista Records in 1998 and began referring to himself by his own name again in 2000. After returning to mainstream prominence following a performance at the Grammy Awards ceremony in 2004, he scored 6 U.S. top 10 albums over the following decade. Joni Mitchell said of Prince, "He's driven like an artist. His motivations are growth and experimentation as opposed to formula and hits." He sold over 150 million records worldwide, ranking him among the best-selling music artists of all time. His awards included the Grammy President's Merit Award, the American Music Awards for Achievement and of Merit, the Billboard Icon Award, an Academy Award and a Golden Globe Award. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004, the UK Music Hall of Fame in 2006, and the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame in 2016. In midlife, Prince reportedly experienced considerable pain from injuries to his body, mainly hips, sustained through his dynamic stage performances, which included leaping off speaker stacks in high heels, and was sometimes seen using a cane. In April 2016, at the age of 57, Prince died of an accidental fentanyl overdose at his Paisley Park home and recording studio in Chanhassen, Minnesota. This project compresses information gathered from Wikipedia in video format. Why should I watch it? Studies prove that reading while listening improves comprehension, increases speed as well as expands vocabulary and enhances fluency. Provide your feedback on the comments section. Support the channel by subscribing and liking the video, thanks. Early life. Prince Rogers Nelson was born in Minneapolis, Minnesota, on June 7, 1958, the son of jazz singer Matty Della and pianist and songwriter John Lewis Nelson. All 4 of his grandparents hailed from Louisiana. Prince was given his father's stage name, Prince Rogers, which his father used while performing with his mother in a jazz group called the Prince Rogers Trio. In 1991, Prince's father told A Current Affair that he named his son Prince because he wanted Prince to do everything I wanted to do. Prince was not fond of his name and wanted people to instead call him Skipper, a name which stuck throughout his childhood. Prince said he was born epileptic and had seizures when he was young. He stated, "My mother told me one day I walked into her and said, 'Mom, I'm not going to be sick anymore,' and she said, 'Why?' And I said, 'Because an angel told me so.'" Prince's younger sister, Tika, was born on May 18, 1960. Both siblings developed a keen interest in music, which was encouraged by their father. His parents were members of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, an evangelical denomination. When he was in high school, Prince was trained in classical ballet at the Minnesota Dance Theater through the Urban Arts program of Minneapolis Public Schools. He grew to become an advocate for, and supporter of, dancers. In the 1990s he used his wealth to save the ailing Joffrey Ballet in Chicago. Prince wrote his first song, "Funk Machine," on his father's piano when he was 7. His parents divorced when he was 10. His mother remarried to Hayward Baker, with whom she had a son named Omar. Prince had a fraught relationship with Omar, to the extent that it caused him to repeatedly switch homes, sometimes living with his father and sometimes with his mother and stepfather. Baker took Prince to see James Brown in concert, and he credited Baker with improving the family's finances. After a brief period of living with his father, who bought him his first guitar, Prince moved into the basement of his neighbors, the Anderson family, after his father kicked him out. He befriended the Andersons' son, Andre, who later collaborated with Prince and became known as Andersimone. He attended Minneapolis's Bryant Junior High and then Central High School, where he played football, basketball, and baseball. He was a student at the Minnesota Dance Theater through the Urban Arts program of Minneapolis Public Schools. He played on Central's junior varsity basketball team, and continued to play basketball for fun as an adult. Prince met songwriter and producer Jimmy Jam in 1973 and impressed him with his musical talent, early mastery of a wide range of instruments, and work ethic. Career. In 1975, Pepe Willie, the husband of Prince's cousin Chantel, formed the band 94 East with Marcy Ingvoldstad and Christy Lazenberry, hiring Andersimone and Prince to record tracks. Willie wrote the songs, and Prince contributed guitar tracks, and Prince and Willie co-wrote the 94 East song, "Just Another Sucker." The band recorded tracks which later became the album Minneapolis Genius, the historic 1977 recordings. In 1976, Prince created a demo tape with producer Chris Moon, in Moon's Minneapolis studio. Unable to secure a recording contract, Moon brought the tape to Owen Husney, a Minneapolis businessman, who signed Prince, age 19, to a management contract, and helped him create a demo at Sound 80 Studios in Minneapolis, with producer/engineer David C. The demo recording, along with a press kit produced at Husney's ad agency, resulted in interest from several record companies including Warner Brothers Records, A&M Records, and Columbia Records. With the help of Husney, Prince signed a recording contract with Warner Brothers. The record company agreed to give Prince creative control for 3 albums and retain his publishing rights. Husney and Prince then left Minneapolis and moved to Sausalito, California, where Prince's first album, For You, was recorded at Record Plant Studios. The album was mixed in Los Angeles and released on April 7, 1978. According to the For You album notes, Prince wrote, produced, arranged, composed, and played all 27 instruments on the recording, except for the song Soft and Wet, whose lyrics were co-written by Moon. The cost of recording the album was twice Prince's initial advance. Prince used the Prince's Music Company to publish his songs. Soft and Wet reached number 12 on the Hot Soul Singles Chart and number 92 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song Just As Long As We're Together reached number 91 on the Hot Soul Singles Chart. In 1979, Prince created a band with Andersimone on bass, Des Dickerson on guitar, Gail Chapman and Dr. Fink on keyboards, and Bobby Z. on drums. Their first show was at the Capri Theater on January 5, 1979. Warner Brothers executives attended the show but decided that Prince and the band needed more time to develop his music. In October 1979, Prince released the album Prince, which was number 4 on the Billboard Top R&B/Black Albums charts and number 22 on the Billboard 200, and went platinum. It contained 2 R&B hits, Why You Wanna Treat Me So Bad, and I Wanna Be Your Lover, which sold over 1 million copies, and reached number 11 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 for 2 weeks on the Hot Soul Singles Chart. Prince performed both these songs on January 26, 1980, on American Bandstand. On this album, Prince used Ignurp Music BMI. In 1980, Prince released the album Dirty Mind, which contained sexually explicit material, including the title song, Head, and the song Sister, and was described by Stephen Thomas Early Wine as a stunning, audacious amalgam of funk, new wave, R&B, and pop, fueled by grinningly salacious sex and the desire to shock. Recorded in Prince's own studio, this album was certified gold, and the single Uptown reached number 5 on the Billboard Dance Chart and number 5 on the Hot Soul Singles Chart. Prince was also the opening act for Rick James' 1980 Fired Up tour. In February 1981, Prince made his first appearance on Saturday Night Live, performing Party Up. In October 1981, Prince released the album Controversy. He played several dates in support of it, as the first of 3 opening acts for the Rolling Stones, on their U.S. tour. In Los Angeles, Prince, who appeared in a trench coat and black bikini briefs, was forced off the stage after just 3 songs by audience members throwing trash at him. He began 1982 with a small tour of college towns where he was the headlining act. The songs on Controversy were published by Controversy Music ASCAP, a practice he continued until the Emancipation album in 1996. By 2002, MTV News noted that all of his titles, liner notes, and web postings are written in his own shorthand spelling, as seen on 1999's Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic, which featured Hot With You. In 1981, Prince formed a side project band called The Time. The band released 4 albums between 1981 and 1990, with Prince writing and performing most of the instrumentation and backing vocals, sometimes credited under the pseudonyms Jamie Starr or The Starr Company, with lead vocals by Morris Day. In late 1982, Prince released a double album, 1999, which sold over 4 million copies. The title track was a protest against nuclear proliferation and became Prince's first top 10 hit in countries outside the U.S. Prince's Little Red Corvette was one of the first 2 videos by black artists, along with Michael Jackson's Billie Jean, played in heavy rotation on MTV, which had been perceived as against black music until CBS president Walter Yetnikoff threatened to pull all CBS videos. Prince and Jackson had a competitive rivalry, not just on musical success, but also athletically too. The song Delirious also placed in the top 10 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. International Lover earned Prince his first Grammy Award nomination at the 26th Annual Grammy Awards. During this period, Prince referred to his band as The Revolution. The band's name was also printed, in reverse, on the cover of 1999 inside the letter I of the word Prince. The band consisted of Lisa Coleman and Dr. Fink on keyboards, Bobby Z. on drums, Brown Mark on bass, and Des Dickerson on guitar. Jill Jones, a backing singer, was also part of the lineup for the 1999 album and tour. Following the 1999 tour, Dickerson left the group for religious reasons. In the book Possessed, The Rise and Fall of Prince, 2003, author Alex Hahn says that Dickerson was reluctant to sign a 3-year contract and wanted to pursue other musical ventures. Dickerson was replaced by Coleman's friend Wendy Malvoine. At first the band was used sparsely in the studio, but this gradually changed during 1983. According to his former manager Bob Cavallo, in the early 1980s Prince required his management to obtain a deal for him to star in a major motion picture, despite the fact that his exposure at that point was limited to several pop and R&B hits, music videos and occasional TV performances. This resulted in the hit film Purple Rain, 1984, which starred Prince and was loosely autobiographical, and the eponymous studio album, which was also the soundtrack to the film. The Purple Rain album sold more than 13 million copies in the US and spent 24 consecutive weeks at number 1 on the Billboard 200 chart. The film won Prince an Academy Award for Best Original Song Score and grossed over $68 million in the US, $167 million in 2019 dollars. Songs from the film were hits on pop charts around the world. When Doves Cry and Let's Go Crazy reached number 1, and the title track reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. At one point in 1984, Prince simultaneously had the number 1 album, single, and film in the US. It was the first time a singer had achieved this feat. The Purple Rain album is ranked 72nd in Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. It is also included on the list of Time magazine's All-Time 100 Albums. The album also produced 2 of Prince's first 3 Grammy Awards earned at the 27th Annual Grammy Awards: Best Rock Performance by a Duo or Group with Vocal and Best Score Soundtrack for Visual Media. In 1984, pop artist Andy Warhol created the painting Orange Prince, 1984. Andy Warhol was fascinated by Prince, and ultimately created a total of 12 unique paintings of him in different colorways, all of which were kept in Warhol's personal collection. 4 of these paintings are now in the collection of the Andy Warhol Museum in Pittsburgh. In November 1984, Vanity Fair published Warhol's portrait to accompany the article Purple Fame by Tristan Fox, and claimed that Warhol's silkscreen image of Prince with its pop colors captured the recording artist at the height of his powers. The Vanity Fair article was one of the first global media pieces written as a critical appreciation of the musician, which coincided with the start of the 98-date Purple Rain tour. After Tipper Gore heard her 11-year-old daughter Karenna listening to Prince's song Darling Nikki, which gained wide notoriety for its sexual lyrics and a reference to masturbation, she founded the Parents Music Resource Center. The center advocated the mandatory use of the warning label, parental advisory, explicit lyrics, on the covers of records that have been judged to contain language or lyrical content unsuitable for minors. The recording industry later voluntarily complied with this request. In 1985, Prince announced that he would discontinue live performances and music videos after the release of his next album. His subsequent recording, Around the World in a Day, 1985, held the #1 spot on the Billboard 200 for 3 weeks. From that album, the single R. Asbury Beret reached #2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and Pop Life reached #7. In 1986, his album Parade reached #3 on the Billboard 200 and #2 on the R&B charts. The first single, Kiss, with the video choreographed by Louis Falco, reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The song was originally written for a side project called Maserati. In the same year, the song Manic Monday, written by Prince and recorded by the Bangles, reached #2 on the Hot 100 chart. The album Parade served as the soundtrack for Prince's second film, Under the Cherry Moon, 1986. Prince directed and starred in the movie, which also featured Kristen Scott Thomas. Although the Parade album went platinum and sold 2 million copies, the film Under the Cherry Moon received a Golden Raspberry Award for Worst Picture, tied with Howard the Duck, and Prince received Golden Raspberry Awards for Worst Director, Worst Actor, and Worst Original Song. In 1986, Prince began a series of live performances called the Hit and Run Parade Tour. After the tour, Prince disbanded The Revolution and fired Wendy and Lisa Brown. Mark quit the band, keyboardist Dr. Fink remained. Prince recruited new band members Miko Weaver on guitar, Atlanta Bliss on trumpet, and Eric Leeds on saxophone. Prior to the disbanding of The Revolution, Prince was working on 2 separate projects, the Revolution album Dream Factory and a solo effort, Camille. Unlike the 3 previous band albums, Dream Factory included input from the band members and featured songs with lead vocals by Wendy and Lisa. The Camille project saw Prince create a new androgynous persona, primarily singing in a sped-up, female-sounding voice. With the dismissal of The Revolution, Prince consolidated material from both shelved albums, along with some new songs, into a 3-LP album to be titled Crystal Ball. Warner Brothers forced Prince to trim the triple album to a double album, and Sign of the Times was released on March 31, 1987. The album peaked at #6 on the Billboard 200 Albums chart. The first single, Sign of the Times, charted at #3 on the Hot 100. The follow-up single, If I Was Your Girlfriend, charted at #67 on the Hot 100 but went to #12 on R&B chart. The third single, a duet with Sheena Easton, You Got the Look, charted at #2 on the Hot 100 and #11 on the R&B chart, and the final single, I Could Never Take the Place of Your Man, finished at #10 on Hot 100 and #14 on the R&B chart. It was named the top album of the year by the Kazan and Job Critics poll and sold 3.2 million copies. In Europe, it performed well, and Prince promoted the album overseas with a lengthy tour. Putting together a new backing band from the remnants of The Revolution, Prince added bassist Levi Seeker Jr., keyboardist Boney Boyer, and dancer/choreographer Cat Glover to go with new drummer Sheila E. and holdovers Miko Weaver, Dr. Fink, Eric Leeds, Atlanta Bliss, and the Bodyguards, Jerome, Wally Safford, and Greg Brooks, for the Sign of the Times tour. The Sign of the Times tour was a success overseas, and Warner Brothers and Prince's managers wanted to bring it to the U.S. to promote sales of the album. Prince balked at a full U.S. tour, as he was ready to produce a new album. As a compromise, the last 2 nights of the tour were filmed for release in movie theaters. The film quality was deemed subpar, and reshoots were performed at Prince's Paisley Park Studios. The film Sign of the Times was released on November 20, 1987. The film got better reviews than Under the Cherry Moon, but its box office receipts were minimal, and it quickly left theaters. The next album intended for release was the Black Album. More instrumental and funk and R&B themed than recent releases, the Black Album also saw Prince experiment with hip-hop on the songs Bob George and Dead on it. Prince was set to release the album with a monochromatic black cover with only the catalog number printed, but after 500,000 copies had been pressed, Prince had a spiritual epiphany that the album was evil and had it recalled. It was later released by Warner Brothers as a limited edition album in 1994. Prince went back in the studio for 8 weeks and recorded Lovesexy. Released on May 10, 1988, Lovesexy serves as a spiritual opposite to the Dark the Black album. Every song is a solo effort by Prince, except I Know, which was recorded with his backing band at the time. Lovesexy reached number 11 on the Billboard 200 and number 5 on the R&B albums chart. The lead single, Alphabet Street, peaked at number 8 on the Hot 100 and number 3 on the R&B chart. It sold 750,000 copies. Prince again took his post-revolution backing band, minus the Bodyguards, on a 3-leg, 84-show Lovesexy World Tour. Although the shows were well received by huge crowds, they failed to make a net profit due to the expensive sets and props. In 1989, Prince appeared on Madonna's studio album Like a Prayer, co-writing and singing the duet love song and playing electric guitar, uncredited, on the songs Like a Prayer, Keep It Together, and Act of Contrition. He also began work on several musical projects, including Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic and early drafts of his Graffiti Bridge film, but both were put on hold when he was asked by Batman, 1989, director Tim Burton to record several songs for the upcoming live-action adaptation. Prince went into the studio and produced an entire 9-track album that Warner Brothers released on June 20, 1989. Batman peaked at number 1 on the Billboard 200, selling 4.3 million copies. The single Bat Dance topped the Billboard Hot 100 and R&B charts. The single The Arms of Orion, with Sheena Easton, charted at number 36, and Party Man, also featuring the vocals of Prince's then-girlfriend, nicknamed Nana Fantastic, charted at number 18 on the Hot 100 and at number 5 on the R&B chart, while the love ballad Scandalous went to number 5 on the R&B chart. Prince had to sign away all publishing rights to the songs on the album to Warner Brothers as part of the deal to do the soundtrack. In 1990, Prince went back on tour with a revamped band for his Back to Basics new tour. With the departures of Boney Boyer, Sheila E., The Horns, and Cat, Prince brought in keyboardist Rosie Gaines, drummer Michael Bland, and dancing trio The Game Boys. The European and Japanese tour was a financial success with a short, greatest hits setlist. As the year progressed, Prince finished production on his fourth film, Graffiti Bridge, 1990, and the 1990 album of the same name. Initially, Warner Brothers was reluctant to fund the film, but with Prince's assurances it would be a sequel to Purple Rain as well as the involvement of the original members of the time, the studio greenlit the project. Released on August 20, 1990, the album reached number 6 on the Billboard 200 and R&B albums chart. The single Thieves in the Temple reached number 6 on the Hot 100 and number 1 on the R&B chart. Round and Round placed at number 12 on the US charts and number 2 on the R&B charts. The song featured the teenage Tevin Campbell on lead vocals. The film, released on November 20, 1990, was a box office flop, grossing $4.2 million. After the release of the film and album, the last remaining members of The Revolution, Miko Weaver, and Dr. Fink, left Prince's band. 1991 began with a performance in Rock in Rio 2 and marked the debut of Prince's new band, the New Power Generation. With guitarist Miko Weaver and longtime keyboardist Dr. Fink on, Prince added bass player Sonny T, Tommy Barbarella on keyboards, and a brass section known as the Hornheads to go along with Levi Seeker, taking over on guitar, Rosie Gaines, Michael Bland, and the Game Boys. With significant input from his band members, Diamonds and Pearls was released on October 1, 1991. Reaching number 3 on the Billboard 200 album chart, Diamonds and Pearls saw 4 hit singles released in the United States. Get Off peaked at number 21 on the Hot 100 and number 6 on the R&B charts, followed by Cream, which gave Prince his 5th U.S. number 1 single. The title track Diamonds and Pearls became the album's 3rd single, reaching number 3 on the Hot 100 and the top spot on the R&B charts. Money Don't Matter Tonight peaked at number 23 and number 14 on the Hot 100 and R&B charts respectively. In 1992, Prince and the New Power Generation released his 12th album, bearing only an unpronounceable symbol on the cover, later copyrighted as Love Symbol No. 2, as its title. The symbol was explained as being a combination of the symbols for male and female. Warner Brothers wanted 7 to be the first single, but Prince fought to release My Name is Prince, as he believed its hip-hoppery would appeal to the audience that had purchased his previous album. Prince got his way, but My Name is Prince reached number 36 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 23 on the R&B chart. The follow-up single, Sexy MF, charted at number 66 on the Hot 100 and number 76 on the R&B chart. 7 reached number 7. The album, later referred to as Love Symbol, peaked at number 5 on the Billboard 200 and went on to sell 2.8 million copies worldwide. After failed attempts in 1990 and 1991, Warner Brothers released a greatest hits compilation with the 3-disc The Hits/The B-Sides in 1993. The first 2 discs were also sold separately as The Hits 1 and The Hits 2. The collection features the majority of Prince's hit singles, with the exception of Batdance and other songs that appeared on the Batman soundtrack, and several previously hard-to-find recordings, including B-sides from across Prince's career and previously unreleased tracks such as the Revolution-recorded Power Fantastic and a live recording of Nothing Compares to You with Rosie Gaines. 2 new songs, Pink Cashmere and Peach, were chosen as promotional singles. In 1993, in rebellion against Warner Brothers, which refused to release Prince's enormous backlog of music at a steady pace, Prince formally adopted the Love Symbol as his stage name. To use the symbol in print media, Warner Brothers organized a mass mailing of floppy disks with a custom font. At this time, Prince was referred to as the artist formerly known as Prince or the Artist. In 1994, Prince began to release albums in quick succession as a means of releasing himself from his contractual obligations to Warner Brothers. He also began appearing with the word slave written on his face. He believed Warner Brothers was intent on limiting his artistic freedom by insisting he release albums more sporadically. He also blamed Warner Brothers for the poor commercial performance of Love Symbol, claiming they had marketed it insufficiently. It was out of these developments that the aborted The Black Album was officially released, 7 years after its initial recording. The new release was already in wide circulation as a bootleg. Warner Brothers then succumbed to Prince's wishes to release an album of new material, Come. Prince pushed to have his next album The Gold Experience released simultaneously with Love Symbol era material. Warner Brothers allowed the single The Most Beautiful Girl in the World to be released by a small, independent distributor, Bellmark Records, in February 1994. The release reached number 3 on the US Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 in many other countries, but it did not prove to be a model for subsequent releases. Warner Brothers still resisted releasing The Gold Experience, fearing poor sales and citing market saturation as a defense. When released in September 1995, The Gold Experience reached the top 10 of the Billboard 200 initially. The album is not currently in print due to an ongoing plagiarism case relating to The Most Beautiful Girl in the World outlined below, with digital distributors excluding the song in question from the album. An Italian court ruled in 2003 that The Most Beautiful Girl in the World plagiarized the song Talking Me to Paradise by Bruno Bergonzi and Michele Vicino. Bergonzi and Vicino won on appeal in 2007. The third and final sentence, by the Court of Cassation of Rome was dated May 2015, although the international case is ongoing. Italian Collecting Society SAI recognizes Bergonzi and Vicino as the authors of the music for The Most Beautiful Girl in the World. Chaos and Disorder, released in 1996, was Prince's final album of new material for Warner Brothers, as well as one of his least commercially successful releases. Free of any further contractual obligations to Warner Brothers, Prince attempted a major comeback later that year with the release of Emancipation, a 36-song, 3-CD set. The album was released via his own NPG Records with distribution through EMI. To publish his songs on Emancipation, Prince did not use Controversy Music ASCAP, which he had used for all his records since 1981, but rather used Emancipated Music Incorporated ASCAP. Certified platinum by the RIAA, Emancipation is the first record featuring covers by Prince of songs of other artists. Joan Osborne's top 10 hit song of 1995 One of Us, Betcha by Golly Wow, I Can't Make You Love Me, and La La. Prince released Crystal Ball, a 5-CD collection of unreleased material, in 1998. The distribution of this album was disorderly, with some fans pre-ordering the album on his website up to a year before it was shipped. These pre-orders were delivered months after the record had gone on sale in retail stores. The retail edition has only 4 discs, as it is missing the Kama Sutra disc. There are also 2 different packaging editions for retail. One is a 4-disc size jewel case with a white cover and the love symbol in a colored circle, while the other contains all 4 discs in a round translucent snap jewel case. The discs are the same, as is the CD jacket. The new Power Soul album was released 3 months later. His collaborations on Chaka Khan's Come to My House and Larry Graham's GCS 2000, both released on the NPG Records label around the same time as New Power Soul, were promoted by live appearances on Vibe with Sinbad and the NBC Today Show's summer concert series. In 1999, Prince once again signed with a major label, Arista Records, to release a new record, Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic. A few months earlier, Warner Brothers had also released The Vault, Old Friends for Sale, a collection of unreleased material recorded by Prince throughout his career. The pay-per-view concert, Rave Unto the Year 2000, was broadcast on December 31, 1999, and consisted of footage from the December 17 and 18 concerts of his 1999 tour. The concert featured appearances by guest musicians including Lenny Kravitz, George Clinton, Jimmy Russell, and The Time. It was released to home video the following year. On May 16, 2000, Prince stopped using the Love Symbol moniker as his name, after his publishing contract with Warner/Chappell expired. In a press conference, he stated that after being freed from undesirable relationships associated with the name Prince, he would revert to using his real name. Prince continued to use the symbol as a logo and on album artwork and to play a love symbol-shaped guitar. For several years following the release of Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic, Prince primarily released new music through his internet subscription service, nkonlineltd.com, which later became the nkmusicclub.com. Albums from this period are Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic, 2001, The Rainbow Children, 2001, One Night Alone, 2002, Expectation, 2003, C-Note, 2004, The Chocolate Invasion, 2004, and The Slaughterhouse, 2004. In 2001, Warner Brothers released a second compilation album, The Very Best of Prince, containing most of his commercially successful singles from the 80s. In 2002, Prince released his first live album, One Night Alone Live, which features performances from the One Night Alone tour. The 3-CD box set also includes a disc of after-show music entitled It Ain't Over. During this time, Prince sought to engage more effectively with his fan base via the NPG Music Club, pre-concert soundchecks, and at yearly celebrations at Paisley Park, his music studios. Fans were invited into the studio for tours, interviews, discussions and music listening sessions. Some of these fan discussions were filmed for an unreleased documentary, directed by Kevin Smith. On February 8, 2004, Prince appeared at the 46th Annual Grammy Awards with Beyonce. In a performance that opened the show, they performed a medley of Purple Rain, Let's Go Crazy, Baby I'm a Star, and Beyonce's Crazy in Love. The following month, Prince was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. The award was presented to him by Alicia Keys along with Big Boy and Andrew 3000 of Outkast. As well as performing a trio of his own hits during the ceremony, Prince also participated in a tribute to fellow inductee George Harrison in a rendering of Harrison's While My Guitar Gently Weeps, playing a 2-minute guitar solo that ended the song. He also performed the song Red House's Purple House on the album Power of Soul, a tribute to Jimi Hendrix. In April 2004, Prince released Musicology through a one-album agreement with Columbia Records. The album rose as high as the top 5 on some international charts, including the US, UK, Germany, and Australia. The US chart success was assisted by the CDs being included as part of the concert ticket purchase, thereby qualifying each CD, as chart rules then stood, to count toward US chart placement. 3 months later, Spin named him the greatest frontman of all time. That same year, Rolling Stone magazine named Prince as the highest-earning musician in the world, with an annual income of $56.5 million, largely due to his Musicology tour, which Pollstar named as the top concert draw among musicians in the U.S. He played 96 concerts. The average ticket price for a show was $61 US, equivalent to $83 in 2019. Musicology went on to receive 2 Grammy wins, for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance for Call My Name and Best Traditional R&B Vocal Performance for the title track. Musicology was also nominated for Best R&B Song and Best R&B Album, and Cinnamon Girl was nominated for Best Male Pop Vocal Performance. Rolling Stone ranked Prince number 27 on their list of the 100 greatest artists of all time. In April 2005, Prince played guitar, along with En Vogue singing backing vocals, on Stevie Wonder's single So What the Fuss, Wonder's first since 1999. In late 2005, Prince signed with Universal Music to release his album, 3121, on March 21, 2006. The first single was Te Amo Corazon, the video for which was directed by actress Salma Hayek and filmed in Marrakech, Morocco, featuring Argentine actress and singer Ma Maestro. The video for the second single, Black Sweat, was nominated at the MTV VMAs for Best Cinematography. The immediate success of 3121 gave Prince his first #1 debut on the Billboard 200 with the album. To promote a new album, Prince was the musical guest on Saturday Night Live on February 4, 2006, 17 years after his last SNL appearance on the 15th anniversary special, and nearly 25 years since his first appearance on a regular episode in 1981. At the 2006 Webby Awards on June 12, Prince received a Webby Lifetime Achievement Award in recognition of his visionary use of the Internet to distribute music and connect with audiences, exemplified by his decision to release his album Crystal Ball, 1998, exclusively online. In July 2006, weeks after winning a Webby Award, Prince shut down his NPG Music Club website, after more than 5 years of operation. On the day of the music club's shutdown, a lawsuit was filed against Prince by the British company Publishing, owners of the Nature Publishing Group, also NPG. Despite these events occurring on the same day, Prince's attorney stated that the site did not close due to the trademark dispute. Prince appeared at multiple award ceremonies in 2006. On February 15, he performed at the 2006 Brit Awards, along with Wendy and Lisa and Sheila E., and on June 27, Prince appeared at the 2006 BET Awards, where he was awarded Best Male R&B Artist. Prince performed a medley of Chaka Khan songs for Khan's BET Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2006, he was invited to dub the Prince 12 cat in the film Garfield, A Tale of Two Kitties, but gave up for unknown reasons and was replaced by the actor Tim Curry. In November 2006, Prince was inducted into the UK Music Hall of Fame. He appeared to collect his award but did not perform. Also in November 2006, Prince opened a nightclub called 3121, in Las Vegas at the Rio All Suite Hotel and Casino. He performed weekly on Friday and Saturday nights until April 2007, when his contract with the Rio ended. On August 22, 2006, Prince released Ultimate Prince. The double disc set contains 1 CD of previous hits, and another of extended versions and mixes of material that had largely only previously been available on vinyl record B-sides. That same year, Prince wrote and performed a song for the hit animated film Happy Feet, 2006. The song of the Heart, appears on the film's soundtrack, which also features a cover of Prince's earlier hit Kiss, sung by Nicole Kidman and Hugh Jackman. In January 2007, the Song of the Heart won a Golden Globe for Best Original Song. On February 2, 2007, Prince played at the Super Bowl 41 press conference, and the Super Bowl 41 halftime show in Miami, Florida, on February 4, 2007, on a large stage shaped like a cymbal. The event was carried to 140 million television viewers, his biggest ever audience. In 2015, Billboard.com ranked the performance as the greatest Super Bowl performance ever. Prince played 21 concerts in London during mid-2007. The Earth Tour included 21 nights at the 20,000-capacity O2 Arena, with Messiah Parker and his band. Tickets for the O2 Arena were capped by Prince at $31.21, $48.66. The residency at the O2 Arena was increased to 15 nights after all 140,000 tickets for the original 7 sold out in 20 minutes. It was then further extended to 21 nights. Prince performed with Sheila E. at the 2007 ALMA Awards. On June 28, 2007, the Mail on Sunday stated that it had made a deal to give Prince's new album, Planet Earth, away for free with the paper, making it the first place in the world to get the album. This move sparked controversy among music distributors and also led the UK arm of Prince's distributor, Sony BMG, to withdraw from distributing the album in UK stores. The UK's largest high street music retailer, HMV, stocked the paper on release day due to the giveaway. On July 7, 2007, Prince returned to Minneapolis to perform 3 shows. He performed concerts at the Macy's Auditorium, to promote his new perfume 3121, on Nicollet Mall, the Target Center Arena, and First Avenue. It was the first time he had played at First Avenue since 1987. From 2008, Prince was managed by UK-based Kiran Sharma. On April 25, 2008, Prince performed on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno, where he debuted a new song, Turn Me Loose. Days after, he headlined the 2008 Coachella Festival. Prince was paid more than $5 million for his performance at Coachella, according to Reuters. Prince cancelled a concert, planned at Dublin's Croke Park on June 16, 2008, at 10 days' notice. In October 2009, promoters MCD Productions went to court to sue him for $1.6 million to refund 55,126 tickets. Prince settled the case out of court in February 2010 for $2.95 million. During the trial, it was said that Prince had been offered $22 million for 7 concerts as part of a proposed 2008 European tour. In October 2008, Prince released a live album entitled Indigo Nights, a collection of songs performed live at aftershows in the Indigo 2. On December 18, 2008, Prince premiered 4 songs from his new album on LA's indie rock radio station Indie 103.1. The radio station's programmers Max Talkoff and Mark Sovell had been invited to Prince's home to hear the new rock-oriented music. Prince gave them a CD with 4 songs to premiere on their radio station. The music debuted the next day on Jonesy's Jukebox, hosted by former Sex Pistols Steve Jones. On January 3, 2009, the new website lotusflower.com was launched, streaming and selling some of the recently aired material and concert tickets. On January 31, Prince released 2 more songs on lotusflower.com, Disco Jellyfish, and Another Boy. Chocolate Box, Colonized Mind, and All This Love were later released on the website. Prince released a triple album set containing Lotus Flower, MPL Sound, and an album credited to Bria Valente, called Elixir, on March 24, 2009, followed by a physical release on March 29. On July 18, 2009, Prince performed 2 shows at the Montreux Jazz Festival, backed by the new power generation including Rhonda Smith, Renato Neto, and John Blackwell. On October 11, 2009, he gave 2 surprise concerts at the Grand Palais. On October 12, he gave another surprise performance at La Cigale. On October 24, Prince played a concert at Paisley Park. In January 2010, Prince wrote a new song, Purple and Gold, inspired by his visit to a Minnesota Vikings football game against the Dallas Cowboys. The following month, he let Minneapolis area public radio station 89.3 The Current premiere his new song Cause and Effect as a gesture in support of independent radio. In 2010, Prince was listed in Time's annual ranking of the 100 most influential people in the world. He released a new single on Minneapolis radio station 89.3 The Current called Hot Summer on June 7, his 52nd birthday. The same month, Prince appeared on the cover of the July 2010 issue of Ebony, and he received the Lifetime Achievement Award at the 2010 BET Awards. Prince released his album 2010 in July 2010 as a free cover mount with publications in the UK, Belgium, Germany, and France. He refused album access to digital download services and closed lotusflower.com. On July 4, 2010, Prince began his 2010 tour, a concert tour in 2 legs, with shows in Europe. The second leg began on October 15 and ended with a concert following the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix on November 14. The second half of the tour had a new band, John Blackwell, Ida Christine Nielsen, and Sheila E. Prince let Europe One debut the snippet of his new song Rich Friends from the new album 2010 Deluxe on October 8, 2010. He embarked on the Welcome to Tour on December 15, 2010. Prince was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame on December 7, 2010. On February 12, 2011, Prince presented Barbra Streisand with an award and donated $1.5 million to charities. On the same day, it was reported that he had not authorized the television show Glee to cover his hit Kiss, in an episode that had already been filmed. Prince headlined the Hop Farm Festival on July 3, 2011, marking his first UK show since 2007 and his first ever UK festival appearance. Despite having previously rejected the internet for music distribution, on November 24, 2011, he released a reworked version of the previously unreleased song Extra Lovable through both iTunes and Spotify. Purple Music, a Switzerland-based record label, released a CD single Dance For Me on December 12, 2011, as part of a Club Remixes package including the Bria Valente CD single Tonight released on February 23, 2012. The CD features club remixes by Jamie Lewis and David Alexander, produced by Prince. In January 2013, Prince released a lyric video for a new song called Screwdriver. In April 2013, Prince announced a West Coast tour titled Live Out Loud Tour with 3 Red Eye Girl as his backing band. The final 2 dates of the first leg of the tour were in Minneapolis, where former Revolution drummer Bobby Z sat in as guest drummer on both shows. In May, Prince announced a deal with Cobalt Music to market and distribute his music. On August 14, 2013, Prince released a new solo single for download through the 3redeyegirl.com website. The single Breakfast Can Wait had cover art featuring comedian Dave Chappelle's impersonation of him, from a 2004 second season Chappelle Show comedy sketch on Comedy Central. In February 2014, he performed concerts with 3 Red Eye Girl in London titled the Hit and Run Tour. Beginning with intimate shows, the first was held at the London home of singer Leanne La Havas, followed by 2 performances of what Prince described as a sound check at the Electric Ballroom in Camden, and another at Shepherd's Bush Empire. On April 18, 2014, Prince released a new single entitled The Breakdown. He resigned with his former label, Warner Brothers Records, after an 18-year split. Warner announced that Prince would release a remastered deluxe edition of his 1984 album Purple Rain in 2014 to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the album. In return, Warner gave Prince ownership of the master recordings of his recordings with the company. In February 2014, Prince began what was billed as his Hit and Run Part 1 tour. This involved Prince's Twitter followers keeping an avid eye on second-by-second information as to the whereabouts of his shows. Many of these shows would only be announced on the day of the concert, and many of these concerts involved 2 performances, a matinee and an evening show. These shows began at Camden's Electric Ballroom, billed as sound checks, and spread throughout the UK capital to Coco Club, in Camden, Shepherd's Bush Empire and various other small venues. After his London dates, he moved on to other European cities. In May 2014, Prince began his Hit and Run Part 2 shows, which followed a more normal style of purchasing tickets online and being held in music arenas. In spring 2014, he launched NPG Publishing, a music company to administer his own music and that of other artists without the restrictions of mainstream record companies. In May 2015, following the death of Freddie Gray and the subsequent riots, Prince released a song, Baltimore, in tribute to Gray and in support of the protesters in that city. He also held a tribute concert for Gray at his Paisley Park estate called Dance Rally 4-Piece, in which he encouraged fans to wear the color gray in honor of Freddie Gray. On May 10, he performed a special concert at the Royal Farms Arena in Baltimore called Rally 4-Piece, that featured a special appearance by Baltimore State's Attorney Marilyn Mosby, and one set performed by Prince alone at a keyboard. Prince's penultimate album, Hit and Run Phase 1, was first made available on September 7, 2015, on the music streaming service Tidal before being released on CD and for download on September 14. His final album, Hit and Run Phase 2, was meant as a continuation of this, and was released on Tidal for streaming and download on December 12, 2015. In February 2016, Prince embarked on the Piano and a Microphone tour, a tour that saw his show stripped back to only him and a custom piano on stage. He performed a series of warm-up shows at Paisley Park in late January 2016, and the tour commenced in Melbourne, Australia, on February 16, 2016, to critical acclaim. The Australian and New Zealand legs of the tour were played in small-capacity venues including the Sydney Opera House. Hit and Run Phase 2 CDs were distributed to every attendee after each performance. The tour continued to the United States but was cut abruptly short by illness in April 2016. Illness and death. Prince saw Michael T. Schulenberg, a Twin Cities specialist in family medicine, in Excelsior on April 7, 2016, and again on April 20. On April 7, he postponed 2 performances at the Fox Theatre in Atlanta from his Piano and a Microphone tour. The venue released a statement saying he had influenza. He rescheduled and performed what was to be his final show on April 14, despite still not feeling well. While flying back to Minneapolis early the next morning, he became unresponsive, and his private jet made an emergency landing at Quad City International Airport in Moline, Illinois, where he was hospitalized and received Narcan, a medication used to block the effects of opioids, especially following an overdose. Once he became conscious, he left against medical advice. Representatives said he suffered from dehydration and had influenza for several weeks. Prince was seen bicycling the next day in his hometown of Chanhassen. He shopped that evening at the Electric Fetus in Minneapolis for Record Store Day and made a brief appearance at an impromptu dance party at his Paisley Park recording studio complex, stating that he was feeling fine. On April 19, he attended a performance by singer Liz Wright at the Dakota Jazz Club. On April 20, 2016, Prince's representatives called Howard Kornfeld, a California specialist in addiction medicine and pain management, seeking medical help for the star. Kornfeld scheduled to meet with him on April 22, and he contacted a local physician who cleared his schedule for a physical exam on April 21. On April 21, at 9:43 a.m., the Carver County Sheriff's Office received a 911 call requesting an ambulance be sent to Prince's home at Paisley Park. The caller initially told the dispatcher that an unidentified person at the home was unconscious, then moments later said he was dead, and finally identified the person as Prince. The caller was Kornfeld's son, who had flown in with buprenorphine that morning to devise a treatment plan for opioid addiction. Emergency responders found Prince unresponsive in an elevator and performed CPR, but a paramedic said he had been dead for at least 6 hours, and they were unable to revive him. They pronounced him dead at 10:07 a.m., 19 minutes after their arrival. There were no signs of suicide or foul play. A press release from the Midwest Medical Examiner's office in Anoka County on June 2 stated that the musician had died of an accidental overdose of fentanyl, at the age of 57. The fentanyl that led to his overdose was contained in counterfeit pills made to look like a generic version of the painkiller Vicodin. The question of how and from what source Prince obtained the drug that led to his death has been the subject of investigations by several law enforcement agencies. A sealed search warrant was issued for his estate, and another, unsealed, search warrant was issued for the local Walgreens pharmacy. On April 19, 2018, the Carver County attorney announced that the multi-agency investigation related to the circumstances of the star's death had ended with no criminal charges filed. Following an autopsy performed by Dr. Aquin Strobel, a protege of Janis Amatuzio, his remains were cremated. On April 26, 2016, Prince's sister and only full sibling Tegan Nelson filed court documents in Carver County to open a probate case, stating that no will had been found. As of his death, the twice-divorced Prince was neither married nor known to have fathered any surviving children. Under Minnesota law, in the absence of a will, this meant that, in addition to his full sister, Prince's 5 half-siblings also had a claim to an estate totaling millions of dollars, and including real estate, stocks, and cars. Within 3 weeks of his death, 700 people claimed to be half-siblings or descendants. Bremer Trust was given temporary control of his estate, had his vault drilled open, and was authorized to obtain a blood sample for DNA profiling from the coroner who had performed the autopsy. Prince's ashes were placed into a custom, 3D-printed urn shaped like the Paisley Park estate. The urn was placed on display in the atrium of the Paisley Park complex in October 2016. As of April 2019, no additional estate claimants were recognized by the courts besides Prince's full sister and 5 half-siblings. However, his estate remained unsettled. Numerous musicians and cultural figures reacted to Prince's death. President Obama mourned him, and the United States Senate passed a resolution praising his achievements as a musician, composer, innovator, and cultural icon. Cities across the U.S. held tributes and vigils, and lit buildings, bridges, and other structures in purple. In the first 5 hours after the media reported his death, Prince was the top trending, most used term on Twitter, and Facebook had 61 million Prince-related interactions. MTV interrupted its programming to air a marathon of Prince music videos in Purple Rain. AMC Theaters and Carmike Cinemas screened Purple Rain in select theaters over the following week. Saturday Night Live aired an episode in his honor titled Good Night, Sweet Prince, featuring his performances from the show. Nielsen Music reported an initial sales spike of 42,000% of his material. The artist's catalog sold 4.41 million albums and songs from April 21 to 28, with 5 albums simultaneously in the top 10 of the Billboard 200, a first in the chart's history. At the 59th Grammy Awards, Morris Day with The Time and Bruno Mars performed a tribute. The May 2, 2016 cover of The New Yorker featured an illustration of Purple Rain. In June 2016, Vanity Fair/Condé Nast released a special edition commemorative magazine, The Genius of Prince. It celebrated the star's life and achievements, with new photography and archive articles, including the original Vanity Fair article from November 1984, written in the wake of the singer-songwriter's breakout success, with other content from the magazine, The New Yorker, Wired, and Pitchfork. The cover of The Genius of Prince featured a portrait by Andy Warhol, Orange Prince, 1984. Casts of the musicals The Color Purple and Hamilton paid tribute to the star during their curtain calls with Purple Rain and Let's Go Crazy respectively. In 2016, Minnesota Representative Joe Atkins introduced a bill in the state legislature to memorialize Prince with a statue in the National Statuary Hall in the United States Capitol, in recognition of his contributions to music in the state of Minnesota. As of 2020, the bill has not had a second reading. Posthumous projects. On August 21, 2016, Prince was posthumously inducted into the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame. The first album released following his death was a greatest hits album, Forever, released on November 22, 2016. It contains one previously unreleased song, Moonbeam Levels, recorded in 1982 during the 1999 sessions. On February 9, 2017, Prince's estate signed a distribution deal with Universal Music Group, which includes the post 1,995 recordings on his NPG Records label and unreleased tracks from his vault. On June 27, Comerica requested that Carver County District Judge Kevin Ida cancel the estate's deal with Universal, as UMG's contract would interfere with a contract with Warner Music Group that Prince signed in 2014. After Universal's attorneys were granted access to the Warner contract, the attorneys also offered to cancel the deal. On July 13, the court voided Universal's deal with Prince's estate, though Universal will continue to administer Prince's songwriting credits and create merchandise. On April 19, an EP featuring 6 unreleased Prince recordings, Deliverance, was announced with an expected release date for later that week. The next day, Prince's estate was granted a temporary restraining order against Georgian Boxell, an engineer who co-produced the tracks and was in possession of the master tapes, and halted the release of the EP. On June 23, Purple Rain was re-released in deluxe and deluxe expanded editions. It is the first Prince album to be remastered and reissued. The deluxe edition consists of 2 discs, the first being a remaster of the original album made in 2015 overseen by Prince himself, and a bonus disc of previously unreleased songs, called From the Vault and Previously Unreleased. The deluxe expanded edition consists of 2 more discs, a disc with all the single edits, maxi single edits, and B-sides from the Purple Rain era, and a DVD with a concert from the Purple Rain tour filmed in Syracuse on March 30, 1985, previously released on home video in 1985. The album debuted at number 4 on the Billboard 200 and at number 1 on both the Billboard R&B Albums and Vinyl Albums charts. On April 19, 2018, the previously unreleased original recording of Nothing Compares to You from 1984 was released as a single by Warner Bros. Records in conjunction with Prince's estate. In addition, the Prince version was given its own music video, released in conjunction with the single. The video consists of edited rehearsal footage for the Purple Rain tour, shot in the summer of 1984. Troy Carter, advisor for Prince's estate, later announced in an interview with Variety that a full-length album was planned for release on September 28. In June, the Prince estate signed a distribution deal with Sony Music Entertainment, which includes the rights to all of Prince's studio albums, plus unreleased music, remixes, live recordings, music videos and B-sides from before 1995. The deal will immediately include Prince's albums from 1995 to 2010. Beginning in 2021, Prince's Warner Brothers albums from 19,781,996 will become distributed by Sony/Legacy Recordings in the United States, with Warner Music Group still controlling the international rights. On July 11, Heritage Auctions announced the auction of Prince's personal possessions to be conducted in Dallas, Texas, on July 21, 2018. A total of 27 items was announced to be put in the auction, including Prince's Bible, stage-worn clothing, and some personal documents. On August 17, NPG Records released all 23 post-Warner Bros. Albums by Prince digitally on streaming platforms, together with a new compilation album anthology, 19,952,010, containing 37 tracks. On September 21, Piano and a Microphone 1983 was released on CD, vinyl, and digital formats. It is the first album released by the Prince estate with material from his archive, The Vault. The Sony/Legacy reissues began in February 2019. The first three releases were Musicology, 3121, and Planet Earth on limited edition purple vinyl and standard CD formats. Later that month, the Prince estate announced reissues of the albums Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic and Rave Into the Joy Fantastic on purple vinyl, as well as Ultimate Rave, a 2 CD and 1 DVD set which includes Prince in concert, Rave Unto the Year 2000. On April 13, Record Store Day, the cassette The Versace Experience, Prelude to Gold, originally issued in 1995 and given as a gift to attendees to the Versace collection at that year's Paris Fashion Week, was reissued in a limited edition. On June 7, Warner released a new Prince album Originals exclusively through Tidal. The album contains Prince's original versions of 15 songs he offered to other artists in the past. A wide release on CD and vinyl followed on June 20. On September 13, The Versace Experience, Prelude to Gold was reissued on purple vinyl and CD as well as on digital formats, together with reissues of Chaos and Disorder and Emancipation. On October 18, a single with his acoustic demo of I Feel For You was released digitally, alongside a limited edition 7 inches purple vinyl in honor of the 40th anniversary of the Prince album release. On November 27, 1999 was reissued in remastered, deluxe, and super deluxe editions, the latter including 35 previously unreleased songs and 2 live concerts. On September 25, the estate of Prince Rogers Nelson released 3 editions of Prince's Sign of the Times Super Deluxe. The remastered edition contains a remaster of the original album. The deluxe edition contains the remaster and a 3rd disc with all the single and maxi single mixes as well as the B-sides. The Super Deluxe edition contains 6 additional discs. 3 of them contain 45 previously unissued studio tracks, 2 discs contain the live audio concert recordings of the Sign of the Times tour at Stadium Galgenwaard in Utrecht, the Netherlands, and the last disc is a DVD with the live video concert recordings of the New Year's Eve show at Paisley Park, that has been bootlegged prior to this release. The albums will also be issued on vinyl in a 2LP, 2LP peach vinyl, 4LP and 13LP plus DVD set and are available on all digital download and streaming services. The video content is exclusive to the physical DVD and does not appear on digital download or streaming versions of the Super Deluxe Edition set. Released on October 2, 2020, Pitchfork rated the Super Deluxe version a 10 out of 10 and named it Best New Reissue. Artistry and Legacy. Prince is widely regarded as one of the greatest musicians of his generation. A multi-instrumentalist who was considered a guitar virtuoso, he was well known for his eclectic work across multiple genres, flamboyant and androgynous persona, and wide vocal range which included a far-reaching falsetto and high-pitched screams. Rolling Stone ranked Prince at number 27 on its list of 100 greatest artists, the most influential artists of the rock and roll era. According to Acclaimed Music, he is the 9th most celebrated artist in popular music history. The Los Angeles Times called Prince our first post-everything pop star, defying easy categories of race, genre and commercial appeal. John Pareles of the New York Times described him as a master architect of funk, rock, R&B and pop, and highlighted his ability to defy labels. Los Angeles Times writer Randall Roberts called Prince among the most versatile and restlessly experimental pop artists of our time, writing that his early work connected disco and synthetic funk, fruitful mid-period merged rock, soul, R&B and synthpop. Simon Reynolds called him a pop polymath, flitting between funkadelic, acid rock, deep soul, schmaltz often within the same song. AllMusic wrote that, with each album he released, Prince showed remarkable stylistic growth and musical diversity, constantly experimenting with different sounds, textures, and genres. No other contemporary artist blended so many diverse styles into a cohesive whole. As a performer, he was known for his flamboyant style and showmanship. He came to be regarded as a sex symbol for his androgynous, amorphous sexuality, play with signifiers of gender, and defiance of racial stereotypes. His audacious, idiosyncratic fashion sense made use of ubiquitous purple, alluring makeup and frilled garments. His androgynous look has been compared to that of Little Richard and David Bowie. In 2016, Reynolds described it as Prince's 80s evasion of conventional gender definitions speaks to us now in this trans-aware moment. But it also harks backwards in time to the origins of rock and roll and racial mixture and sexual blurring. Prince was known for the strong female presence in his bands and his support for women in the music industry throughout his career. Slate said he worked with an astounding range of female stars and promised a world where men and women looked and acted like each other. Prince also wore high-heeled shoes and boots both on and off stage. Many artists have cited Prince as an influence and inspiration, including Beyoncé, Justin Timberlake, Bruno Mars, Rihanna, Alicia Keys, Usher, Janelle Monáe, The Weeknd, Lady Gaga, Lenny Kravitz, Andre 3000, Frank Ocean and Beck. Beyoncé expressed her admiration for Prince in the book Prince, A Private View, calling him my mentor, and she also praised his independence. He dared to fight for what was rightfully his freedom, wrapped up in words and music he created. In August 2017, Pantone Incorporated introduced a new shade of purple in their color system in honor of Prince. The shade is called Love Symbol No. 2 and is defined as Pantone color No. 19 to 3528, web palette hashtag 4F3D63 or RGB 79,61,99. Prince's music synthesized a wide variety of influences, and drew inspiration from a range of musicians, including James Brown, George Clinton, Joni Mitchell, Duke Ellington, Jimi Hendrix, The Beatles, Chuck Berry, David Bowie, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Mick Jagger, Rick James, Jerry Lee Lewis, Little Richard, Curtis Mayfield, Elvis Presley, Todd Rundgren, Carlos Santana, Sly Stone, Jackie Wilson, and Stevie Wonder. Prince has been compared with jazz great Miles Davis in regard to the artistic changes throughout his career. Davis said he regarded Prince as an otherworldly blend of James Brown, Jimi Hendrix, Marvin Gaye, Sly Stone, Little Richard, Duke Ellington, and Charlie Chaplin. Prince and Miles Davis performed together for a charity event at Paisley Park. This performance was viewed as the pinnacle of their on-again, off-again partnership. Journalist Nick Cohn described him as rock's greatest ever natural talent. His singing abilities encompassed a wide range from falsetto to baritone and rapid, seemingly effortless shifts of register. Despite that, Prince was a natural tenor. Prince was also renowned as a multi-instrumentalist. He is considered a guitar virtuoso and a master of drums, percussion, bass, keyboards, and synthesizer. On his first 5 albums, he played nearly all the instruments, including 27 instruments on his debut album, among them various types of bass, keyboards and synthesizers. Prince was also quick to embrace technology in his music, making pioneering use of drum machines like the Lin LM1 on his early 80s albums and employing a wide range of studio effects. The LA Times also noted his harnessing new generation synthesizer sounds in service of the groove, laying the foundations for post-70s funk music. Prince was also known for his prolific and virtuosic tendencies, which resulted in him recording large amounts of unreleased material. Prince also wrote songs for other artists, and some songs of his were covered by musicians, such as the hit songs Manic Monday, performed by the Bangles, I Feel For You, originally on Prince's self-titled second album from 1979, covered by Chaka Khan, and Nothing Compares to You, written for Prince's side project The Family, and covered very successfully by Sinead O'Connor. Prince co-wrote Love That Will Be Done with singer Martika, for her second album Martika's Kitchen, and also gifted Celine Dion a song for her second album, Celine Dion, titled With This Tear, a song Prince had written specifically for her. Prince also wrote You for Paula Abdul, appearing on her 1991 release Spellbound. As a guitar virtuoso, Prince was also known to have a very stylish and flamboyant custom guitar collection, which consisted of 121 guitars. One notable series is his Cloud guitars, which were commissioned and released in colored versions of white, yellow, and purple. The white version is prominently shown in the Purple Rain film and the Raspberry Beret video. Other notable guitars are the Love Symbol guitars, which were designed in the separate colors of gold and purple. The guitar that was used for the majority of Prince's music career was the H.S. Anderson Mad Cat guitar, a Telecaster copy created by Hohner. Several versions of the guitar were used throughout his career, due to one being donated for charitable reasons, while one or more were stolen. Two other noteworthy guitars are the G1 Purple Special, and the black and gold Gus G3 Prince bass, which would become the last two guitars to ever be made for him. Legal issues. In 1993, during negotiations regarding the release of the Gold Experience, a legal battle ensued between Warner Brothers and Prince over the artistic and financial control of his musical output. During the lawsuit, Prince appeared in public with the word slave written on his cheek. He explained that he had changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol to emancipate himself from his contract with Warner Brothers, and that he had done it out of frustration because he felt his own name now belonged to the company. Prince sometimes used pseudonyms to separate himself from the music he had written, produced, or recorded, and at one point stated that his ownership and achievement were strengthened by the act of giving away ideas. Pseudonyms he adopted, at various times, include Jamie Starr and the Starr Company, Joey Coco, Alexander Nevermind, for writing the song Sugar Walls, 1984, by Sheena Easton, and Christopher, used for his songwriting credit of Manic Monday, 1986, for the Bangles. On September 14, 2007, Prince announced that he was going to sue YouTube and eBay, because they hosted his copyrighted material, and he hired the international internet policing company Web Sheriff. In October, Stephanie Lenz filed a lawsuit against Universal Music Publishing Group claiming that they were abusing copyright law after the music publisher had YouTube take down Lenz's home movie in which the Prince song Let's Go Crazy played faintly in the background. On November 5, several Prince fan sites formed Prince Fans United to fight back against legal requests which, they claim, Prince made to prevent all use of photographs, images, lyrics, album covers, and anything linked to his likeness. Prince's lawyers claimed that this constituted copyright infringement. The Prince Fans United said that the legal actions were attempts to stifle all critical commentary about Prince. Prince's promoter Rig stated that the only offending items on the three fansets were live shots from Prince's 21 nights in London at the O2 Arena earlier in the year. On November 8, Prince Fans United received a song named P.F.Unk, providing a kind of unofficial answer to their movement. The song originally debuted on the PFU main site, was retitled FUNK, but this is not one of the selected songs available on the iTunes Store. On November 14, the satirical website Beta.com pulled their Image Challenge of the Week devoted to Prince after legal threats from the star under the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA. At the 2008 Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival, Coachella Festival, Prince performed a cover of Radiohead's Creep, but immediately afterward he forced YouTube and other sites to remove footage that fans had taken of the performance, despite Radiohead's request to leave it on the website. Days later, YouTube reinstated the videos. As Radiohead said, "It's our song, let people hear it." In 2009, Prince put the video of the Coachella performance on his Offic.io website. In 2010, he declared the internet is completely over, elaborating 5 years later that the internet was over for anyone who wants to get paid. Tell me a musician who's got rich off digital sales. In 2013, the Electronic Frontier Foundation granted to Prince the inaugural Raspberry Beret Lifetime Aggrievement Award for what they said was abuse of the DMCA takedown process. In January 2014, Prince filed a lawsuit titled Prince v. Chaudhary against 22 online users for direct copyright infringement, unauthorized fixation, contributory copyright infringement, and bootlegging. Several of the users were fans who had shared links to bootlegged versions of Prince concerts through social media websites like Facebook. In the same month, he dismissed the entire action without prejudice. Prince was one of a small handful of musicians to deny Weird Al Yankovic permission to parody his music. By Yankovic's account, he'd done so about a half-dozen times and has been the sole artist not to give any explanation for his rejection beyond a flat no. Personal life. Prince was romantically linked with many women over the years, including Kim Basinger, Madonna, Vanity, Jill Jones, Sheila E., Carmen Electra, Susanna Melvoin, and Sherilyn Fenn. Susanna Melvoin recalled how, around the time of Sign of the Times, Wendy and Lisa and I lived together and we would have stayed at our place. We became really close. He got to be in a family of 3 women, and we got to have our Prince. Not many people had that kind of relationship with him. In 1990, he saw 16-year-old dancer Maite Garza standing outside his tour bus, and referred to her as his future wife when pointing her out to bandmate Rosie Gaines. Garza began working as one of his backup singers and dancers after graduating from high school. They were married on February 14, 1996, when he was 37 and she was 22. They had a son named Amir, born October 16, 1996, who died a week after being born due to Pfeiffer syndrome. The distress of losing a child and Garce's subsequent miscarriage took a toll on the marriage, and the couple divorced in 2000. Prince married Manuela Testolini, a Canadian businesswoman of Italian and Egyptian descent, in a private ceremony in 2001. She hails from Toronto, which led the couple to live there part-time. They separated in 2005 and divorced in May 2006. Prince was an animal rights activist who followed a vegan diet for part of his life, but later described himself as vegetarian. The liner notes for his album Rave Unto the Joy Fantastic, 1999, featured a message about the cruelty involved in wool production. He became a Jehovah's Witness in 2001, following a 2-year debate with bassist Larry Graham, who became his mentor and a close friend at this time. He did not consider it a conversion but a realization, comparing it to Morpheus and Neo in The Matrix. He attended meetings at a local Kingdom Hall and occasionally knocked on people's doors to discuss his faith. Prince had needed double hip replacement surgery since 2005. An unverified rumor was spread by tabloids that he would not undergo the operation because of his religious beliefs, which included a refusal to have blood transfusions. The Star Tribune reported that Graham denied claims that Prince couldn't have hip surgery because his faith prohibited blood transfusions, stating that medical technology offers alternatives. Longtime collaborator Jimmy Jam said that if he didn't, he was in pain, like, unbelievable pain, because that's the way Morris felt too, referring to the lead singer of the time who had hip surgery in 2008, though Jam still could not believe the stories suggesting Prince may have been dependent on pain pills. While many patients can undergo hip transplant without transfusion, the need for blood is highly individual. Prince did not speak publicly about his charitable endeavors. The extent of his activism, philanthropy, and charity was publicized after his death. In 2001, he anonymously donated $12,000 to the Louisville Free Public Library System to keep the historic Western Branch Library, the first full-service library for African Americans in the country, from closure. That same year, he anonymously paid off the medical bills of drummer Clyde Stubblefield, who was undergoing cancer treatment. In 2015, he conceived and launched Yes We Code, paying for many hackathons outright and performing musical acts at some of them. He also helped fund the Green for All initiative. In late March 2016, Prince told an audience he was writing a memoir titled The Beautiful Ones, although its publication seemed unlikely with his death only a few weeks later. His co-writer, Dan Piepenbring, continued work on the memoir and The Beautiful Ones was published in October 2019. Achievements. Prince sold over 150 million records worldwide, ranking him among the best-selling music artists of all time. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2004, the UK Music Hall of Fame in 2006, and the Rhythm and Blues Music Hall of Fame in 2016. In 2016, he was posthumously honored with a Doctor of Humane Letters by the University of Minnesota. He won 7 Grammy Awards, 7 Brit Awards, 6 American Music Awards, 4 MTV Video Music Awards, an Academy Award, and a Golden Globe Award. 2 of his albums, Purple Rain, 1984, and Sign of the Times, 1987, received the Grammy Award for Album of the Year nominations. 1999, 1982, Purple Rain and Sign of the Times have all been inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. At the 28th Grammy Awards, Prince was awarded the President's Merit Award. Prince was also honored with the American Music Award for Achievement and American Music Award of Merit at the American Music Awards of 1990 and American Music Awards of 1995 respectively. At the 2013 Billboard Music Awards, he was honored with the Billboard Icon Award. In 2019, the 1984 film Purple Rain was added by the Library of Congress for preservation in the National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. Prince has been honored with a star on the outside mural of the Minneapolis nightclub First Avenue, recognizing performers that have played sold-out shows or have otherwise demonstrated a major contribution to the culture at the iconic venue. Receiving a star might be the most prestigious public honor an artist can receive in Minneapolis, according to journalist Steve Marsh. Prince's backing band The Revolution also has a star on the mural, to the immediate right of Prince's. Originally painted silver like the other stars on the mural, Prince's star was repainted in gold leaf during the night of May 4, 2016, about 2 weeks after Prince's death. Originally anonymous, the artist was revealed a few months later to be graphic designer and graffiti artist Peyton Russell, who had worked for Prince at his club Glam Slam in the 1990s and wanted to pay tribute. Discography. In his life, Prince released 39 studio albums, posthumous releases. He also released 2 albums credited to Madhouse, 3 albums credited to the New Power Generation and 1 credited to the NPG Orchestra. Madhouse, the New Power Generation, NPG Orchestra,